Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dual Screens Gamescast Episode 3. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me, as always, each and every week, and it never fails, he is Andy Asimakis. How are you, Andy?
I spent 6 hours poop farming in a game today.
Okay.
So there's that.
Poop farming.
Yes.
Expound.
As to farm for poop.
I guess, you know what? Tell me later.
I
Tell me
will.
later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dual Screens Gamescast. It's a show where Andy and I, and sometimes a third wheel, go over the top stories from the big three companies, and we debate who had the best and worst week, as well as discussing gaming's past, present, and future. This show posts each and every Monday for your listening pleasure on your podcast service of choice, including YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And of course, you can find everything we do on dualscreens.com. Also, on this same feed, every Thursday we post the Dual Screens podcast, which is an interview show where we bring on a video game industry guest to tell us their story. You can catch that, like I said, each and every Thursday and every other Friday. And this is a Friday. This is one of the weeks that we're on this week there, Andy. You could catch one of our seasonal shows, and right now we are doing Andy Explains It All, a show where Andy, our smartest idiot, explains to me, the dumbest idiot, about something I know nothing about. And the first episode was all about Stephen King, and this next episode is all about, is it Metal Gear this week?
It is, and let's amend the doc. The smartest idiot and the dumbest idiot.
Correct.
That should be the pitch.
That should be in there.
I like how that
100% agree.
The flow sounds so much better with that.
Yeah. I agree.
Your improv skills are really coming in.
They are much better than my writing skills and reading skills.
Yes.
Folks, like I said, all of those shows are on the same feed, so you do not have to subscribe to anything else, just this feed. And if you do listen on Apple Podcasts, it does the show wonders if you would leave us a review, especially on our new content. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go down to reviews, hit 5-star, and write us something. And tell us which one of our 3 shows that we're doing are your favorite. It's really easy. Really easy to do it, and it gets us in front of more people because more people will see the stars and they'll be like, yo, that's a good show, we should be a part of that. And I'll be like, yeah. And I think that's awesome. Andy, I found my wife found my orange hat for our brand new overlay.
Did she?
Yeah, she was like, we remodeled the closet and found all of the shit that I forgot I owned.
Dude, that burnt orange is such a smart look. I love it so much.
I love it very much.
That's so sexy. It's so classy.
Remember, folks.
You don't deserve it.
Yeah, no, I don't. We don't. Remember, folks, not only are we recording this Gamescast for your podcast listening, but we also post the video version of this on YouTube, and we do the show live every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/dualscreenstream. So you can give us a follow over there. You can give us a follow on our YouTube channel. All of those links are in the show description. If you want to support us monetarily, you could do so on Patreon. You could go to patreon.com/NDS podcast. Just like our Patreon producer, Colton the Apprentice Nestler. We cannot continue to grow without your support, so please consider backing us for as little as $1. And that $1 gets you a bonus episode each and every month that you vote the topic on. And it also gets you access to our Discord, VIP Discord, where you get to chat with us, the dev guests that we have on the Dual Screens podcast, and each other. It's really a great place to hang out. All right, let's get on with the show, and let's move into the adventures in gaming. Andy, what have you been playing this week?
So just to go back to the poop farming reference.
Yes, please expound on the poop farming.
Intro. So I'm back on Neo as per our Attack the Backlog, or the backlog. What's it called again?
The Backlog Accountability Club.
Sure, yeah, that's what it's called. So there's a level where I think it's a submission where there's this guy behind the door that asks for balls of poop. So you can open the door.
Okay.
He's like, hey, bring me poop and I'll open this shortcut door for you. And to get these balls of shit, you got to fight actual blobs of poop. So I spent about 6 hours farming 10 of them, but there's a trophy attached to getting 20 of them. It's called the dung the dung roller or some crap like that. Literally crap. Um, so I spent like 6 hours trying to get 20 balls of poop to give to this dude who eats them.
But are you? Is he turning into like the greatest poop monster of all?
No,
That's what I worry about. Why is he eating poop?
He's just a guy with his voice doesn't match the body. First of all, it's like a high pitched voice and like a weird, like he's kind of semi obese. He's not fat, but he's like kind of is fat, or is just heavy armor. I'm not sure. So I gave him the poop, opened the door. Worth the time for the shortcut to the boss. But yeah, that was my day. But if you recall, earlier this week I told you that we're both dum-dums.
Yes. Okay. So you did tell me in our G chat, which we chat all day, every day. Yes. You said, "Oh my God, we're both dum-dums," and I said, "Please tell me why." And you're like, "No, I'm going to save it for the show." So I have no idea why we're dum-dums.
So aside from the backlog, which has been all but Neo the entire week, another game. I bought a game this week as well.
Me too. Yeah. Didn't even start it yet. I was so excited, but I had a wedding this weekend.
This is what we get for not doing a Nintendo podcast anymore, where we look at upcoming games weeks in advance. You know what came out last week?
No.
Super Crush KO.
Oh, yes. I did read that, and I was very upset.
And I was like, oh, there's a review. Wait a minute. Like, we could have had him on the show, did a whole thing. And I was so pissed at myself because we missed the window. Because we recorded like 4 episodes in the can. By the time they come out, this is like kind of oldish news, but I still want to get them on the show at some point. And we can.
That's upsetting.
Like, we could do a post-launch, like, hey, we met you at PAX, on the game's out. It's been out for like 3 weeks. What's the reception been like? Sales? But I was just so mad at myself for missing it, like on Twitter.
Oh,
all of them.
I didn't see it at all until Greg Miller said that they gave him extra codes to give away, and I was like, oh shit, that game came out.
And you didn't say anything, you turd.
No, no, I didn't.
You belong in the semi-fat guy's mouth in Japan.
This is way after the fact, though. But no, that's really upsetting because that game was really awesome. And now I need to add it to my backlog.
You were so wet for that game.
I loved that game.
At PAX. So I was like, and that's what made me even more upset because you wanted to play it.
That actually could bleed right into our indie news update. So yeah, Super Crush KO came out.
And it's on sale too for only $14 right now on the eShop.
I need to get my Switch. It's also on PS4, I believe, and Xbox One.
Okay, cool. Then there's that.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think I played anything really this whole weekend. I think during the week I played a little bit of Jedi. I played a bunch of Pokemon. I only played Apex like one day this week. I haven't really been able to kind of sit down in front of the TV and just kind of chill. I've just been kind of going. I was doing a lot of creative things, both for this and for a side project I'm working on that has nothing to do with gaming. Plus work and like all that stuff. I just kind of been all over the place, but I did, and we'll talk about this on the post show, but I did try and attack one of the games in my backlog, and I really don't want to do this game anymore because I might have to start over, because it's one of those games that if you forget how to play it, you could put yourself in a deep hole immediately. So that kind of sucks. All right, so we're going to get into the indie news update. This is a new segment of the show where we are going to tell you all about some indie games, projects that we've heard of, or anything like that, or updates on projects that we do know of. And one of the updates I want to tell you, listeners, about is the game Temtem, which has only recently gotten a lot of mainstream press. It's the MMO Pokemon-like game that is actually pretty good. I played the alpha, the Kickstarter backer alpha many months ago. I did a video of it on our YouTube channel as well. That was actually might have been the first game I ever streamed on our channel as well. So you could probably look back on that. But I'm one of those guys. I don't want to play alphas. I want to play it when it's done. I'm not here to like test your game for
or at
you.
least a beta.
Yeah, like if it's a couple of weeks before it comes out and everything like that, I'll jump in and I'll see what you got and I'll see if it's something I want to spend money on. Yada yada. This I already backed on Kickstarter, but I got a very very upsetting message from their Kickstarter. Now the game is going out on early access on January, I think it's 20th or soon.
So this week.
It is this week. I just don't know.
The 23rd, maybe.
Yeah, it might be like a couple of days after. But they sent me a message and they said, "Hey, this is your last chance to update your console because if you want early access, it's only when it releases on Steam next week. So if you change your console to Steam, that's when you'll get early access, and then you'll get the game when it comes out of early access." But they say, here's the one that sucks. If you pick a console for your key, you won't be able to play the PC version of the game, and you won't be able to play until the console version is released. Even if you play the alpha version on PC, you won't be able to play the early access version if you pick a console.
Yeah, that's a little upsetting.
Now, I was one of the first backers of this game. I was a champion of this game. They got almost 12,000 backers. They got over $500,000. The game is... So when I backed the game, their tentative release date was 2020. It was like, I think it was early 2020. It might have actually been fall 2019. Now they're releasing this in early access only for people who choose Steam as their console, as their code. And those people will get to play this for a year in quote unquote early access, while the other people that gave them money up front have to wait till 2021 to play the game.
Well, let's play a little devil's advocate here. So do you think essentially when you get into early access, that's you redeeming your Steam version of the game? If I got it on Switch, why should I get it on Steam as well?
There are ways around that, and I actually looked into this. There are times where I don't know if it's specifically an early access thing, but what they can do is they can give revocable keys to backers.
Oh, so if I go, okay, I want to play early access, but when it's out on console, just take my Steam rights away, essentially.
Exactly. And they do that for they did that for the alpha, because once the alpha's done, they revoke the alpha keys. They just revoke, they all get revoked. So I don't understand why they can't do Kickstarter early access stuff unless it's maybe against Steam's terms.
The thing is, you want to play a game for a year and then not have your save?
I at least want the option to.
Over on your new console?
I at least want the option to. That's how I feel about it. It's like I gave you the money and I have to wait a year more than people who are willing to play on PC as opposed to the console of their choice. I understand the consoles cost more, Go ahead. That's
going to make a fun question for when we interview them.
Exactly.
They're in the back burner. They were like, "Hey guys, we're into this, but we're busy with making a game."
Hey, so, listen,
I totally get that.
I am all for like an actual explanation to it. I just think from my end as a Kickstarter backer,
as a backer and a concerned individual, you can say, "Listen, we don't deal in the whole gotcha journalism. We say it 1,000 times in the podcast, but I think I'm with you on this. Just to like, what was the driving force behind that? And if you could amend that, would you?"
Right. It's essentially it's essentially a bonus to people who pick Steam over console versions, even though the Steam people paid the same amount as the console people.
Is it?
And in some cases, I think I think console people paid more. And the people, I don't.
Is that can't be real?
I think
that can't be true.
No, I think there's like a $15 and then there's a $20. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but like either way,
the cutoff has passed for changing your console, your platform of choice
tomorrow.
Okay,
it ends.
But so whatever. Change it?
Because I want it on Switch.
You want it on Switch? See, I got two. I paid for 2 games, so I can make one on Steam, and you can play my library. So there you go. Problem solved.
Well, we're not going to tell them that.
Well, we won't. But that's a good loophole. Let's see right now.
All right. So that's your indie news update. And before we get into the Dual Screens report, which of course is one piece of news, the biggest piece of news from the three big companies plus a wild card, we're going to tell you the stuff that didn't make the cut. The first one comes from Games Radar, and this is that the Order 1886. My God, why do I have? See, don't put one of those things where you can't block ads on sites, because some of you guys put ads on sites that automatically play video, and it's really obnoxious, especially when you're recording a podcast. Anyway, moving on. The Order 1886 sequel
it's on them and not us.
Right. Could be headed to PS5 and Xbox Series X if these leaked teases are right. The next, this is, like I said, this is coming from Games Radar, and this is from Connor Sheridan. The next generation of consoles is looming large, and PS5 and Xbox Series X are going to need games. That means the new challengers like Godfall, and also means the return of some series you may not have expected, like the Order 1886. And not as a PlayStation exclusive anymore, ? Developer Ready at Dawn has confirmed it's working on a new AAA console game. It hasn't said anything specific about the Order sequel. A new leak from a NeoGAF poster, who previously nailed most of the details of the PS4 Pro several months before it was officially announced in September 2016, hints toward the possibility. Osiris Black omitted some details to make the alleged PS5 and Xbox Series X game more difficult to identify, but they also dropped a few riddle-like teasers that pointed towards the Order 1886 sequel. In short, the alleged gameplay trailer shows a man with a shoulder-mounted light device surveying a dim-lit room, then firing on and fleeing from a yellow-eyed, many-armed creature. The monster taunts him from behind the door, almost singing the words, "I have found you," before the game's title appears on the screen and the trailer ends. Now, here's my thing about this little thing. It intrigued me until I realized Sony owns the Order. They own the IP. So there's no way this is going to come to Xbox unless they relinquish the rights to it, because they weren't a big fan of it. It actually did sell kind of well. It just didn't, it wasn't received well critically.
Listen, they could always do some sort of like Demon Souls, Dark Souls shit and do like Handlebar Mustache 1887 as like a sequel. But from what I gather, this like tease or leak, they were just asked about a possible sequel. Like, would it be on PS5 or Xbox? They were like, yes. I mean, it's not a serious answer. It's not real, people. This is a nothing story.
All right. The next one that did not make the cut, we're going to tell you about Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC. It's apparently going to be rated that it's going to feature blood. It's going to be drinking alcohol, and swearing is going to be in the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3.
This sounds like a chance for you to do a nice drunk Donald Duck impression.
Aren't all Donald Duck impressions drunk?
Exactly. And that's the swearing.
My father does a good Donald Duck. I should get him to do that. Next one that did not make the cut, Fire Emblem Three Houses is going to get a secret fourth house in a DLC release coming soon. Essentially, there's a house of outcasts in Fire Emblem Three Houses that they wind up forming an underground house in the sewers, essentially. So that's pretty cool. It's I don't know if it's as long, if you could play as that house, or if it's just like an added story, but
yeah, here's 85 more hours of gameplay.
Right. It's either way, it's more game for the people who have the game that
just you die.
Is ridiculous. I got that I bought that game for my cousin for Christmas because he needs to play games.
And you haven't seen him since.
I saw him this weekend, and he was like, "Yeah, I barely tried it. It seems like it's going to be a lot to deal with." I'm like, "There's gonna just play for a few hours, then there's a event. After that, it's going to really start moving, and you're gonna have a little bit more fun with it." All right, and the last bit of news that did not make the cut. PS4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC. This is a report, which is really a rumor. This is coming from the one that I have here is the one that states it as a report, but they're reporting on a tweet, an article that Jason Schreier wrote on Kotaku, who does not name sources and only says that it's coming to PC sometime later this year. Now, that seems like, I mean, that seems interesting. That would mark the first Sony first-party game exclusive going to PC. Like, they do have Death Stranding coming to PC, which is a second-party game, console exclusive thing. But I don't know if I believe Sony's willing to give that up. Maybe this is a tongue-in-cheek way of saying it's coming to, you could PS Now stream this game on your PC.
Right, like God of War is on PS Now, and that could technically, if you had that on your PC, you can play.
I wonder if that's like a tongue-in-cheek way of them alluding to
it could be
the next gen being it's going to be seamless. If you own the game, you could play it anywhere, kind of thing.
Right. Or listen, my initial thought was Death Stranding's come out to PC in summer, which is on the Desma engine. So if that runs well on the PC, might as well port Horizon over and get some hype for Horizon 2 on PS5.
Right. I mean, that was
my initial guess.
It's always it is 3 years after Horizon came out. That's one thing we have to keep in context here. It's not like they're putting, they're not putting The Last of Us 2
one PC and console release.
Right. They're not doing that. But yeah, this will definitely say, oh, you like that game, PC players? Well, now you need a PS5 because for Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or 2 Dawn or 1 2 Dawn or Too Fast, Too Furious Zero Dawn.
This isn't Kingdom Hearts naming rituals.
If you want to play that, you need a PS5. Now, maybe that's something they can do. Or maybe they say just buy PS Now. You have a super powerful PC.
Right.
Buy PS Now and you can play it on your PC.
I think when they put God of War up there, kind of jacked up their subscriptions a little bit. So this might be a good move for them. Again, the game is 3 years old. If you haven't played it by now, it's because you don't own a PS4. So there you go. There's your chance. PC owners, get a little Aloy in your life.
Indeed.
It's a great game, too.
It is. Still in the middle of that one. That's going to be probably next month's Backward Accountability Club tackle. Backlog. All right, so those are the stories that didn't make the cut, but now let's get into the Dual Screens report. Again, folks, this is how this is going to work. We choose one story for each of the big three companies. That's Nintendo, that's Microsoft, and that's Sony. And then we pick a wild card to discuss. Of those four stories, we pick a winner and a loser, and then we go on from there. All right, our first bit of news, we're going to actually we're going to stick with Sony here. So this is Sony's story here. Sony and PlayStation will not be at E3 in 2020. So this, of course, made waves across Twitter, across Facebook, every group I was in.
Where's my fainting couch?
Everybody posted this at least 3 times in each group I'm a part of on Facebook.
I couldn't get away from it. That's what it felt like.
Look,
it's like, yes, I'm aware.
Am I disappointed? Am I disappointed? Yes. Only because I want E3 to be what it used to be. I want it to be the place for these types of stories and news and reveals to be. But the more I think about it, the more I realize E3 isn't that place anymore, especially for companies that have the means to control their own messaging and do their own thing. Sony did say that they're going to be doing hundreds of fan events. This is something that, as one of our listeners in our live chats just said, Super Anthony just said, Nintendo did this several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I'm questioning, they said that they're not going to be there. Does that mean that they're not going to have any PS4s showing anything off or anything for players to play at E3, even if it's not a new game, just have some sort of presence? Or is it only that they're not going to have their press conference and any sort of reveal?
I think it's no presser and no floor space at all. No footprint.
Now, Nintendo, they still have their Treehouse stuff. So they're not totally out of E3.
There's a presence of Nintendo.
They have a presence, right, correct. And they do show new stuff there. They just don't do a press conference. They hold a direct, typically, I think it's on the Tuesday. No, is it Friday? I don't remember which day it is. This does not mean that Sony is not going to do their own either PlayStation Direct, whatever the hell they call them, PlayStation State of Play.
State of Play. It has a name, dude.
I know. Nobody cares. Their name is stupid.
Nobody gives a shit.
The name is stupid. It doesn't mean that they're not going to do something like that. It doesn't mean that they're not going to do something around E3. There are rumors of them doing a huge PS5 reveal in February on their own accord, in their own event. So it just sucks for E3's super expensive, and of course the big companies can have a booth at E3, but the people going to E3, the fans that get to go to E3, pay a ton of money to go there, and the smaller game companies, like when we spoke to our friends at MegaCat, it's thousands of dollars to invest, tens of thousands of dollars to invest in getting a booth at E3. And for a smaller studio or a smaller group of people that finally get into E3, not having the draw, the big money, it's like being a undercard wrestler or fighter and Mike Tyson drops out of the card. Now your payday is less because there's less people that are going to be intrigued to go see the show because Sony's not there, and Nintendo is still not there. They just do their treehouse thing. I don't know. I feel like the ESA, is it the ESA? Yeah.
It's the ESA, yeah, you're correct.
I feel like yes, the organization. I feel like they need to give a facelift to E3 in a big way. Not just to make this more attractive for the big companies, but to make it more of what it's becoming, which is it's less about the products and selling the products, and it's more about a celebration of gaming. This event doesn't hold a candle to Tokyo Game Show or Gamescom. Gamescom is 4 times the size of E3.
Mm-hmm.
And it has no signs of slowing down. And they could be that for the United States if they didn't dox 100,000 of their media personnel.
I was going to make that point. Yeah, that wasn't a good look for them.
Yeah, they're a disaster, essentially.
So a few things I want to touch on with this. There's a few things I keep hearing about. I'm not sure if it's just like a Sony fanboy talking point. I keep seeing just over and over again this idea that, oh, well, they'll save so much more money now by passing E3. To disabuse you of all that notion, Sony has cash. They got money. Mm-hmm. They got the cheddar. The cost for E3 is high. It's very high. I've been to a Sony press conference. It's not just the production of the games on the stage and all of that, and the venue that they pick. It's a full-blown event. There's catering. There's bars. There's food trucks. Yeah, it's expensive. But to them, it's not much. It's a drop in the bucket. So this idea of like, well, they'll save money now. It's not. It's nothing. They're doing hundreds of events. That's going to cost way more to them. I just feel this is not about cost at the end of the day. It's nice, but I think with the ESA and that doxing last year, which was horrible for them PR-wise.
Yeah.
Also the fact that I spoke to a number of friends who attended last year's E3, and I've read up on it as well. It was about half as attended as the year prior. So you can see it's dwindling in its kind of importance slightly. I mean, it's not what it used to be.
No.
And when you have someone like Nintendo that can share, that can beam you anywhere in the world their message, whether you're sitting at your office, you're on the can, you're going to work, or you're a journalist at E3, it's the same exact means and method. It's a video.
Right.
And they have to evolve to that, and they haven't. It's fun. It's great to have floor time with all these great games. It's great for PR and to get those articles published to hype shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll miss that. And also, I was there for things like when it came back. Shenmue 3 was announced.
Giant Enemy Crabs. Were you there for that one?
I was there for that one. When The Last Guardian came back, or the FF7 remake, like that, I'll miss that crowd.
Right.
But it's that can be set aside for the future of what this event should be. I feel like when they made it a semi-fan event by opening up ticket sales to people on the street who aren't really in the industry for like $1,000, by the way, gouging much.
It was like $250 for a single day. Yeah.
Right. That kind of shows you that, well, we kind of need this money, so let's let the public access. Which also, on another point, if it was half attended last year, why the fuck can I get in? Just let me in, dude. Lower your standards then. Get more people in there.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You want, like, I get there's like, we can't let everyone in with a blog or a podcast. Yeah, fine, I understand that. Like, but if you're doing this for more than a year or 2 years, yeah, it's more than a hobby. It's not bullshit. It's not me writing an article overnight and making a blog and say, okay, cool, give it to E3. And that's how it was years ago.
Yeah.
And that's how I get into easily. But I'm going to miss them again for just the presence on stage. But think about it. In this day and age, how many leaks do we report on? How many rumors do we see come and go on Twitter? What's really saved? What's going to shock you on a stage?
People,
it's
people
that
dedicate
game
their
that I
entire
knew
lives.
about like last week.
Yeah.
There it is.
People dedicate their entire lives to trying to spoil shit.
Right.
People.
And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So I feel like if you can control the messaging, have a nice, I'd prefer a nice, tight 45-minute video as opposed to fluff with weird, like, dad jokes for an hour and a half. That's what it feels like on the stage. It's not a good look. And you're showing cars. Then there's a rapper. I'm just shitting on Microsoft conferences in the past.
All right, that's Sony's news bit, and that's going to bleed right into our Xbox news bit, which is that Xbox will be at E3 2020.
Oh, boy.
Phil Spencer is confirmed. So head of Xbox's Phil Spencer has confirmed that Xbox will be attending E3 2020. Spencer took to Twitter to confirm the news, saying, "Our team is hard at work on E3, and we look forward to sharing with all who love to play what's ahead for us." And that you could read that also on Games Radar. That was by Heather Wald. They always do the thing in the theater next to E3, so I don't know if they could say where. I mean, they're always at E3. They do their thing at E3 adjacent.
Right, but they'll have a floor presence. They
always have a floor presence. So like I don't understand why. Like they're doing it because they're gonna take all of Sony's thunder. What?
So there's that. I feel like this is Microsoft is never gonna live down the meme of the PS4 Xbox One launch year when Sony announced how you can play your friends' games on your
games with your friend.
Right. They'll never live that down.
Never. No.
It was the ultimate clapback from Sony. Now I feel like this is like their kind of slight shade, saying, "Oh, we'll be there." So of course you're gonna fucking be there. This kind of feels like that Jurassic Park meme with Newman. He's like, "Oh look everybody, Phil's gonna be there." See, no one cares.
See, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I mean, it's good for the ESA that Xbox says we're going to be there, even though
they need the money.
They're not really.
If they pull out too, they're fucked. Could you imagine?
It's not that different than what I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they do something actually at E3. Who knows? But it is also weird because if you have tickets to E3, you get to use the same ticket to get into the Xbox theater.
Right.
So that is weird. I mean, they never left E3, so I don't understand why this is such a big fucking deal.
I don't get it. It's like Bethesda has their own thing, like way far away from where E3 takes place.
Right.
But they just do it during E3.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're at E3.
Right.
I mean, they're still there on the floor with their games. But yeah, if they just did that one thing like far away from the universe that was E3's convention center and had their games on display, would that be them going to E3? I don't think so. They're not really there. They're like on the side.
Right.
Many sides away.
Is Devolver Digital at E3? They just played a video, didn't they?
Yeah. There's no actual crowd. It's all just, it's all on the YouTube channel. Right. It's a live stream.
It's just fucking weird. It's just weird. I don't know why we have this. I don't know. Whatever. All right. So now we're going to get into the wild card. This was an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. This kind of made me blink several times in succession.
Yeah.
I'm like, where did you pull this out of?
Yeah. This is from Jeff Keighley on Twitter. According to NPD Group, the top 10 selling games of the past 10 years based on dollar value sales are, this is from 1
Call
to 10.
Call of Duty and GTA 5.
GTA 5, Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Ghosts, Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty World War 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and Minecraft.
I only own the 2 of these games, and they're both from Rockstar.
I own 0.
I just can't believe.
Games.
See, like, this is why I feel like a lot of us who go to news sites and forums and Reddit and all those things, we're in this kind of bubble where we can all shit on Call of Duty, how it's horrible, it's not going to be great anymore. But no one seems to care about quality because the shittiest ones can sell like a fuck ton, apparently.
I don't think it's fair to say that they're, shitty quality per se, because a ton of polish goes into these games.
Yeah, they don't move the needle.
Creatively, no, they don't. But so for those of you that are counting, that is 7 Call of Duty games out of the 10.
Out of 10
best-selling games. There's a reason why these games come out every year. Just put it that way.
Right.
Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto. So that's 2 go to Rockstar. And then there's Minecraft.
Because they only make 1 game per decade. Maybe 2 sometimes.
It's honestly, it astounds me that they don't come out with 2 Call of Duties a year.
Did you hear this thing about 2K trying to get Rockstar to make more games? Like their old schedule?
Yeah.
Talk about crunch. And then Rockstar was like, nah, we're fine.
But if I was 2K, I'd be like, hold up, time out. You make like $50 billion a year. Just
you can make $50 zillion a year.
Open another fucking studio, dude. Just open like 2 more studios.
Yeah, they can't just make more people to work at Rockstar.
It just doesn't
hire some more folks.
I mean, good on them. They control they really go balls out to make their product. And they make it really well. But
I just think they feel like we could make. They probably saw this list and were like, huh. So the 2 biggest games you released in the last decade were from Rockstar, and if they made like 4 games in 10 years, they would all be on the top 10 bestseller, and we could like double our money. So yeah, guys, make more games.
Honestly, Activision, like, they have to be just rolling in money.
They can't make someone just make Bully 2 and fucking Manhunt 3.
Oh, Manhunt! I would play Manhunt. I remember Manhunt. I used to play Manhunt as a kid.
Oh, it was a great game. Great fucking game.
And our chat brings up an interesting point here. Yes, how is Skyrim not on this list? It was re-released like 12 times.
That is a great question. Maybe in the top 20.
I would imagine it's in the top 20, but like Skyrim keeps getting purchased by the same people, but that group of people is kind of small.
No, look at it this way. A lot of these, if you take out Red Dead 2, it's all online multiplayer games for the most part. All of it.
According to Super Anthony, he says it's at number 15 on the list.
Oh, there you go. Okay, not so far down.
That makes sense.
Right.
But that's ridiculous that a game that gets re-released, it got re-released, let's see, PS3, then the next gen, then Switch
and VR.
then VR, right? PC, that's 5 releases that we know of off the top
They
of our
weren't
head.
there like bundles, like re-releases, like with all the
Game
DLC?
of the Year editions.
Right, yeah.
Call of Duty has 3 more on the list at 11, 12, and 15, by the way.
Oh my god.
Or 14 or whatever. So, just, I mean...
So there's more plus Skyrim, basically, is what happened.
Yeah.
More COD and a little bit of Skyrim.
Who knows? It's an incredible thing. Congratulations, Activision, because whatever.
Listen,
how is Assassin's Creed not on the list? Like,
listen, here's you know why I feel sad, because games that are really pushing the envelope and trying to elevate the medium even a little bit are nowhere near on this list. It's all just shooter games.
Mm.
And that makes me cry. And it makes me feel like gaming has betrayed me in a lot of ways.
But you know what? Listen, if it's a great shooter, if it's a really great shooter, I'm into it. It's just...
Well, that's who you play Apex.
Right. And Modern Warfare 2 was the last Call of Duty I purchased. I really liked it a lot. But yeah, let's move on. The final news bit is...
It's the final news bit.
Scooby-Dooby. Nintendo.
Oh, fuck me in the ass.
Their final DLC character.
Talk about the final.
For the first DLC pack for Smash. They did like a 40-minute, 30-minute, 30-minute, I think. I don't know. Dump of information. The speculation was wild, Andy. Just wild. Who's it going to be?
I kept seeing Crash, Waluigi, Minecraft Steve, Doom Slayer, Master Chief, Sora, Dante, Raiden.
Yeah.
The usual suspects.
But we actually got somebody that is way more recognizable.
Oh, totally, yes.
Yes. We got Byleth?
Can I refer back to my Jurassic Park meme from before?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. This character apparently is in the top 5 most requested in Japan.
Yes.
Get it.
Consistently number 3. Yes.
There you go. Number 3. Also, it's a new Fire Emblem game. It's great for marketing. We can push 2 things at once. Like, here you go. Here's a DLC. He's on it. We throw him on there. Great.
Sure.
But this is the first time that a character came out that I could not give 2 shits about.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Yep.
Like, Joker, love Persona. And I can see why it's there, because Persona 5 will scramble comes to Switch. So again, there's some cross marketing there as well.
Right.
Banjo-Kazooie, that was the obvious. Had to happen at some point. That's a huge fan thing for me. Like, yes, we're listening. Banjo-Kazooie is yours. Great. Terry Bogard was like the wild card for me in the whole batch.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
That was so rando. And then we got Dragon Quest XI, which again, marketing. It's all good. The neighborhood. And who was the 5th one? Who am I leaving out?
Byleth. There's only 5.
Weren't there 6?
No.
Oh, there's 5.
There's 5. No, Piranha Plant was like the bonus before
I feel
all
like
started.
This could have been what Piranha Plant was. Like, here's a little bonus for you guys. You've been working on, like, to tease the last one, but I don't know. I feel like I don't want to bitch about sword fighters too much, but here we are again.
This isn't a sword fight, a sword fighter though. Like if you read more into it, there's
yes
a lot more. It looks like a really interesting character for like a Smash Brothers fighting game, but like I don't play that for these interesting play styles. I play it for the goofy fucking characters I can play with. I want to let me play with these cartoon characters. Like, give me more cartoon characters to play with. That's what I want. I don't want more Fire Emblem characters because honestly, they all kind of are cut from the same tone.
They all kind of samey. Yeah,
they're the same tone. Like Doom Guy would have been really interesting to see how they would pull that off.
Yeah, Chad took the fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah,
come on now.
Rocket launcher, uppercutting dudes and
chainsaws, and
the levels would have been incredible.
Dude, levels,
right? Each character comes with 2 levels, and the music. Oh my god, the music would have been fantastic.
Mario and Luigi fighting in hell.
Having Doom Guy and Samus fighting each other, like that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it's a Nintendo property, and that's the other thing. Didn't he say before revealing all of this DLC that these were handpicked by Nintendo and they were all going to be third-party characters?
Oh, I think that last part is not accurate.
I think it is.
I think they're all picked ahead of time. Not all third party.
I think they said that all of them were going to be third party, and I could be wrong. Chat, if you find that quote, or if I am wrong, put that in there.
I think it was they've all been selected before. Yeah, like they knew what was going to happen. It wasn't like
they were all selected beforehand, but yet
like a release basis.
But that this Byleth character was voted on throughout the whole year, right? That's not a coincidence.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Did they pick Byleth because shit, everyone loves him, so let's throw him in now? So that he takes someone's place? Is that what happened? Is that your tinfoil hat for the day?
I honestly, I think that they have DLC coming for Fire Emblem. They want to pump Fire Emblem up. I think they took who was supposed to be 5, pushed it down for the next DLC pack to get people really excited about that pack, because it'll probably be a huge third, like a Dante.
Right, but do we need to sell Fire Emblem to people? It's already sold a lot of copies. What are you trying to do with this marketing? It's like, get it. Like, people love the game.
I don't
just do like a freebie. Like, here's a bonus character, like Piranha Plant. Here you go, take Byleth. That's what you guys want. Yeah. Here's Gino for those who care about Gino.
They could have easily done. Hey, if you own Fire Emblem 3 Houses on your Switch, it automatically unlocks this character for you. And if you don't,
yeah, I see that I'll get behind.
You could spend $5, $5.99, unlock the character, or go out and buy Fire Emblem. It comes with the character.
Listen, I just feel like Smash, at its heart, should celebrate all things Nintendo, but it's not just Mario and Pokemon and Fire Emblem now, and Link
and Yankee Dance.
There's so much more to that. It's like there's just such a wealth of characters to pick from. It makes you wonder, how do they pick characters? What do they go through? Like, what could be the least amount of work? We'll give them a sword. What can we do? All right, that works. All right, same franchise, similar music. Came out.
Before we go off the rails here, they did give us more Mii fighter costumes.
See, that got me hype more than the actual character announcement, which is sad.
We got Altair,
which is amazing.
Or Altair from Assassin's Creed as the sword Mii. You got a couple of blaster Miis. You got Cuphead.
Yeah, it looked pretty neat. I like that.
You got Mega Man.
Mega Man X and Mega Man NT Warrior.
Yes. And then you got a rabbit from
Mario I just put the rabbit in the game.
I know. That's
I know. Fuck you. Like, do Rabbid Peach.
You know what?
Do a Rabbid Waluigi. Come on.
Yes. So here's what I think. Here's what I think is going to happen. DLC pack 2 is going to have 6 characters. They said that already. So it's going to have one more than the previous. I think they're all going to coincide with Nintendo properties that are coming out.
So Animal Crossing
in the next couple of years. So I think we're going to get an Animal Crossing character,
a Metroid,
possible Metroid character, another Zelda,
Bayonetta,
and I think we're going to get no, Bayonetta's already in. They're not going to really do anything.
But there's more people to play with.
I think we're going to get Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2 this year. I think that's going to be a surprise.
Ooh,
so I think that's going to be. I think that could be one of the characters, and then you could also, you could start it off with like a Dante or something like that to get people really excited. But what I want them to call back to all of the huge third-party games that got Nintendo on the map with the NES. And for God's sakes, I want Billy and Lance from Contra. There's no reason why Billy and Lance is not in this fucking game.
I feel like since we got Banjo-Kazooie, anything is possible, and it has to happen. We need something that's like pure NES nostalgia. Like if you Ninja Turtles you can't do, then you gotta do Contra.
Blaster Master.
Oh yeah,
Contra.
And they're on the Switch exclusively. Why isn't he on there?
I just can't wait to use a shotgun in Smash Brothers. You could also.
You mean spread gun? That you're talking about?
I've never heard of it. What else? You can do what are the big NES third-party games were there? I mean, I guess you could
Metal
do.
Gear.
Yeah,
get some more. I can get Raiden in there.
Yeah, but you want to do? I want to pick 6 characters from the NES era. You could do Battletoads, Super Anthony. That is possible. You could do Battletoads because of the Microsoft thing, Team Bestie with Nintendo. I wouldn't be shocked if Battletoads is on the Switch when it comes out. That doesn't look like it's an intensive video.
As long as it's in a classic inspired design, not that new.
No, it'll be the new one. It'll be the new one. But yes,
oh god,
it'll be the new one. But maybe you could do like a shadow character of the
that's
old one.
More shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a good.
Oh, wait, I got it.
Okay.
Double Dragon.
Yeah. Bimmy and Jimmy. Bimmy and Jimmy, Billy and Lance, Blaster Master, in his car and everything. In the what was her name? What was it? Was
oh shit,
Sarah?
The girl's name? No, Zoe.
No
shit.
No.
She had a name. I gotta look it up.
Blaster Master car name.
It's a tank.
I know.
Car name.
Sophie.
Okay, I wasn't okay. I said Zoe.
I said Sarah, so we combine the two. We got it.
Yeah, we got it.
We got it. So yeah,
half a brain between us.
Yeah. Thank you for listening this long, folks. All right, so that is the Dual Screens report. So now it's time to crown our winners and losers of this week. For me, my losers are. My loser is Nintendo, because this really disappointed a lot of people outside of Japan. And my winner is Activision for having 7 games on the top 10 best-selling games of the decade.
I'm going to go loser Nintendo, for obvious reasons. And I'm going to go winner Xbox. Okay. I know it's not the biggest thing in the world, but E3 still is a thing that people tune into, and headlines matter, and being on a stage, I think, still matters in some way. Less than the olden days, but still, it's there. So at least they're keeping it alive for now, before it dies completely. So thanks, Microsoft, for keeping it alive.
Yeah. I just feel like that headline is akin to me calling my boss right now and being like, hey, I'm coming to work tomorrow. I'm coming to work. Oh, okay.
Great.
And that actually makes more sense, a little bit less sense this week, because it's a holiday for a lot of people and it's not for us. So, yeah, I'm coming in this week, boss. Oh, okay.
Good. Was he Mr. Mackey, your boss?
Good. All right. It is time to get into the hype zone. And boy, oh boy, is it a doozy. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we are moments away, just mere weeks away from our first Democratic primary voting. Okay? The political landscape is heating up, and that's not what this is going to be about, mostly. The Democratic field had like 20 people. It's now down to like a solid 6 that are in the top 6 there. And one of the front runners, serious contenders, yes. And one of our front line candidates for the Democratic nominee is one former Vice President, Joe Biden. Bless his heart. So, this is coming from Video Games 247, so VG247.com. Headline: Joe Biden calls Silicon Valley game developers, quote, little creeps who make games that, quote, teach how to kill. Former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden has harsh words for the video game and tech industries. In an interview with the New York Times, the presidential hopeful called developers he met with during his time at the White House creeps, righteous, and arrogant, referring to his personal experiences with high-ranking executives in Silicon Valley. Quote, and you may recall the criticism I got for meeting with the leaders in Silicon Valley when I was trying to work out an agreement dealing with and protecting intellectual property for artists in the United States of America, said Biden. And at one point, one of the little creeps sitting around that table, who was a multi, close to a billionaire, who told me he was an artist because he was able to come up with games to teach you how to kill people, you know the blank. Like video games, offers the New York Times interviewer. Biden has previously called for certain legal restrictions on imposed violent video games. This screams two things to me, Andy.
The first thing I want to say is I think Joe thinks it's 1995 again.
Right.
The dementia is creeping in on him big time. Because this is not a thing anymore. We don't do this anymore in society. It's been long disproven. But go ahead. What are your two things?
Two things come to mind. One, Simpsons meme of old man yells at cloud.
Yep.
That's number one. Number
okay,
two,
boomer.
There is no clearer example of the dichotomy of the young voter being ignored by the 78-year-old like people who run the country. Like, it's just, he may have had a bad experience with a pompous game director
sure
or something like that.
As have I.
That's very possible.
I've had many times in my life.
I guarantee you there are more douchey politicians, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. But I've met a lot of asshole people in my life too, but I still have hope that not all pieces.
The problem is a man that is trying to get these younger votes, because those younger votes, those swing votes and all of that stuff all went to our current president. Most of them went to our current president.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we have him as our president.
Right.
I just feel like this is the dumbest and most tone-deaf shit that...
This is just... It's another in a long line of gaffes for Joe Biden. I feel the less he says, the better for him. That's how I feel. People should be muzzled at all times. He had that insane rant about his blonde legs and kids and cockroaches. I was like, I don't know what he's on.
I don't want this to be about Joe Biden per se. He's
sure.
kind of proving his
right.
lunacy. But
right. It's just the mindset of a different era that I feel.
How can anybody, forget that it's Joe Biden, how can anybody sit there for years and say, yes, we cannot ignore the science, global warming is real, we have to do something about this, and make part of his platform on it, and then say all that other science about violence in video games causing violent people, ignore that.
Right. Well,
take this science, ignore that science.
Could get into a whole thing with science and the DNC. I feel I could say some things I don't want to say right now on the podcast.
It's cherry picking.
Exactly. But you can't you can't do science a la carte. You can't say, I agree with this science because it suits my narrative, my political agenda, so I'll shove it in your face. But this one, I don't like this. It doesn't really fit my world views. Somebody's going to ignore that and say, no, it's going to make a bunch of killers, baby killers, these video games with their guns and their assault rifles and their AR-15s.
They're going to get you.
Yeah, I just...
They're going to get you, Andy.
They're going to get you. But I just, it's like, I'm like, we're not in a post-Columbine. I don't know. I feel violence has gone down over the years on a consistent. It's a consistent downward trend because of the rise of things like video games. It's keeping most people busy because the people who want to shoot people are playing Call of Duty in droves. It's the top 10 games of all time for the year. That's 10 years. So your would-be shooters are preoccupied. Also, more than likely, smoking the ganj. Legalize that shit. Let's have some pot. Let's have video games. We'll all be fine.
Maybe smoke that ganjaria, you know what I mean?
That's my platform.
That's your whole platform?
Games, ganj, and gold.
Love it.
Bring the gold standard back. That's what I would do if I was president.
All right, before we get into the mailbag segment here, let me tell you about our sponsors. One of them, Melted Pins, meltedpins.com. Yeah. Folks, artist Kelsey Lynn has done art for this very website, Dual Screens. Has done stuff for multiple podcasts. Has done stuff for Kinda NYC. Has won contests for Kind of Funny, all that stuff with her designs. It's original tattoo art inspired designs. You can get enamel pins, buttons, canvas bags, t-shirts, all sorts of fun stuff. And if you go to meltedpins.com and you use the checkout code NDS Melted, you will get 10% off of your purchase. That's right, it's simple. 10% off your purchase if you use the checkout code NDS Melted. We also are sponsored by one of our most recent guests on the Dual Screens podcast. That's Patrick Hickey Jr.'s The Minds Behind the Adventure Games. It is out right now on patrickhickeyjr.com and on Amazon. It features interviews with the creators of 31 popular video games, including Grand Theft Auto, Strider, Maximum Carnage, and Pitfall. The book gives behind-the-scenes look at the origins, of some of the most enjoyable and iconic adventure games of all time. The interviewees recount the endless hours of painstaking development, the challenges of working with mega publishers, the growth of the adventure genre, and reveal the creative process that produced some of the industry's biggest hits, cult classics, and indie successes. I have the first of his books, The Minds Behind the Games, right here. It's a fantastic book with fantastic stories, and this one, which came out last year, has some of the greatest games and greatest stories I've ever read. You got Wonder Boy and Monsterland, E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Boy and His Blob, Streets of Rage, 3D, Toe Jam and Earl, just Towerfall, Spider-Man 2, Hulk Ultimate Destruction, Deus Ex, WWF WrestleMania, Doom. I mean, the stories that are in these books are phenomenal. And The Minds Behind the Adventure Games is out right now, and should be out on Kindle very soon. I know it's on Google Books right now. You can get the digital copy on Google. But if you order from patrickhickeyjr.com, you will get an autographed copy. At least that's what he did for the last book, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do it for this one. So yeah, go to those website. Let them know that the boys at Dual Screen sent you. We love Patrick very much, and don't forget to listen to his episode of the Dual Screens podcast, which is on this very feed. Okay, it's super simple. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's in this channel. You know, if you're listening to this on your podcast service, boom, just scroll down one, hit fucking download. Don't be an idiot. It was a great episode. All right, we have a short mailbag for right now. Buzz Killington wants to know who our Super Bowl picks are. It looks like it's going to be Kansas City and San Francisco. Andy, you know nothing about the sports ball? Who do you have to win?
Clearly the Kansas City Cheetahs should win.
You were very close. They're the Chiefs, but you were very close.
Oh, look at that.
Very
cool.
Close.
You can't spell cheetah with that.
It's going to be an excellent game. I think it's going to be San Francisco by 6. That's what I think. And also, listeners in our twitch.tv/dual screen streams chat, if you have any questions you want to ask us, now is the time to put it in the chat, and I'll scroll up and I'll read. Nuff writes in our Discord mailbag, which you can join for $1 by going to patreon.com/NDS podcast. With next gen on the horizon, which of the big three is most likely to launch a new pillar IP like a Zelda, Uncharted, or Halo? Andy?
I'm going to go with Sony.
You think they got a new IP up their sleeve?
I think they're working on something big.
Who do you think is doing it?
I think Microsoft is just going to push Halo as their big system seller.
Mm-hmm.
And they have all these new studios now, which Hellblade 2, it's an existing property. I would imagine Outer Worlds 2 is going to be a thing at some point, or a Fable sequel, or a Forza, but nothing AAA, bigly new IP I can see from Microsoft.
Okay.
Nintendo, I can see them more using an existing IP, like an F-Zero, for example.
Or Star Fox.
Bring one of those back in the fold.
Right.
That's fine. And they got, their Marios, their Zelda. So I think we're good with that. And I also think that they won't even release a new Mario game in the current Switch cycle before Pro comes out, if that's going to happen.
I think they have a 2D Mario in the works.
I feel like there's not... Well, yeah, but we won't see an Odyssey 2 until Switch 2 comes out. That's my belief. So I think Sony, they've always tried to launch a big new IP, like with Uncharted, for example. I see them doing that.
What would you say? Horizon's their big new IP for PS4 generation?
Horizon 2. So yeah, I think that's their biggest one. I would say.
I think Naughty Dog's working on something. I think they might to get away from Uncharted. I think they need something that's going to take that less serious approach. And
right.
I think a really good fit for them would be sci-fi spaghetti western.
Well, if you believe that insane leak we read the other day that hinted at some sort of Naughty Dog sci-fi game.
Yeah, I don't take that seriously, but
right.
I could see them doing a Han Solo like space spaghetti western, like pulpy, really like a Firefly type thing, ragtag group of space pirates or something like that.
Listen, the last semi-credible rumor I read was that they were fishing after Tommy Earl Jenkins from Death Stranding to get him for something as a lead character.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be great in any kind of game, especially a spaghetti western sort of Firefly, maybe even type of situation. So there's that. But I also read they were trying, or they had taken people from different studios to make a new studio. That was a thing I read a while ago. Heavily underwrapped. So we'll see. But I think Sony has it in them more to push something big and new than the other two do. Because they have enough to work with existing IP at the moment.
Right.
Because we're not going to see a Spider-Man 2 or God of War 2 for years, I feel. Like second, third year PS5. But those are my thoughts.
All right, let me check I'm going to check the Facebook group, see if anybody dropped a question in there.
Sure.
Because it's been a moment. I don't think anybody did, but...
All right. I think the dog should be almost about poop ready by now.
Almost poop ready.
I'm so excited, you guys.
Retro Game Club update. I just figured out a way to actually play the game for the Retro Game Club. I know Andy.
Yes.
I just literally
crash course in piracy and emulation in about 5 minutes.
Right. I mean, I could have. I found out about 2 hours before recording that I could have purchased it for the Vita on like the classics thing, which forced me to actually take out my Vita.
I'm surprised this is not ready at all times.
It's right here.
Just by your TV.
It's ready to go, but it is not charged. But it's not dust. It's not covered in dust, as you can see. It's always at the ready. It's always at the hip, as it were. Mm-hmm. So we are gonna take I think what we're gonna end up doing is like, this is gonna be a beginning of the month. We each give each other a game, And then the beginning of the next month, we do like a book report on it. But throughout the month, we like
love
update
giving
each
us
other.
homework on the podcast.
I think it's fun.
You?
I think it's a fun thing, and it'll get us in touch with our classic side.
You gotta explain things here. Do research.
Right.
Play this game. Do research. Do a book report.
I think you'll like Dark Cloud, so play it. So again, I'm playing Parasite Eve. Andy is playing Dark Cloud. It's been many years since.
It has been many years.
We've played those games.
Should we add some more games to the list?
No. No, I don't.
Oh, come on. I was playing a game this week that's from a retro era that I want to talk about, but I'll save it.
Save it for the rest of the year.
Your big old poo head.
Well, it is what it is. You didn't even play Dark Cloud, so shut up. All right, folks, that is going to do it. That is going to bring us to the end of the show. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at NDS Podcast. I am at BatChild27. Andy is at Pants Guy. You can join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/dual-screens-podcasts. We record this show every Sunday night on twitch.tv/dual-screen-streams. If you are watching this on YouTube, please consider giving us a subscribe, a like on the video, and hit the bell so that you are notified anytime we post the video. I am about to record all week this week Dual Screens First Plays Season 2. I have 5 games, actually 6 games, that I'm going to record the first 20 minutes to an hour of, depending on the type of game it is. So I'm going to show you all these games that you may not have played, some games that have just recently been released, and really fun stuff like that. So please be excited for that. Again, please subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you to our contributors, Zazu Pitts, for our theme song. Thank you, Matt Murray, for our overlay for this video. It is sleek and beautiful, and we love it very much. Thank you, Andrew Douglas, for all of our Twitter and other podcast art. And you can follow Andrew at AngieMoto. If you want to send us any questions, comments, or concerns, send it to feedback@ndspodcast.com. And again, if you want to listen to this show's post-show exclusively, you could do so on patreon.com/ndspodcast. Support us. We need it. And if you want to buy any merchandise, you could do so at teespring.com/stores/dual-screens-shop. Very much would appreciate any support on that, sending that into the chat. Okay. Thank you again one more time to Melted Pins and the minds behind the adventure games out now on PatrickHickeyJr.com. Andy, is there anything you want to tell the kids before we go?
That was a lot of fun.
It was a good episode.
I'm so excited to do this show live at PAX East in a couple of weeks.
Oh, baby.
It's like we're getting to like 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's going to get there fast.
Scary.
So excited.
I'm
so fucking excited.
So yeah, folks, remember, we are going to PAX East. So if you are going, look us up. Hit us up on Twitter. It's going to be awesome. We're trying to get a pass for a magical third person to join us.
We're going to karaoke again this year.
We are going to karaoke again with Kinda NYC.
Sing. I may sing this year.
You're going to sing
right now.
Because you know the people now. You know the faces. They know you.
I'm going to sing.
Yeah.
Don't make me sing, right? Don't make me sing.
Stay tuned for later this week. We have the Dual Screens podcast. Who's our guest this week on the Dual Screens podcast, Andy?
Ooh, Massive Galaxy. That was a fun one.
That was a great episode.
I love our overseas or international guests.
International guests. We are always international. I
can't
wait. I like when
get a pass early.
I like when
those ones.
Yeah, I like when those episodes go up because I get to see our show get downloaded in countries that normally don't download it.
Right.
It's really cool.
You have like a 54% download rate in the United States, or is it an 84%?
Yeah, it's more than that. It's more than that. Yeah, it's upwards of 80%. Yeah,
right.
But like the one that we did with who was it? It was
Shadow Brawlers was the big one.
Yes, that one. That was our first of the new format. Right. We got like, I would say 30% of our downloads were in what was it? It was Brazil? No.
Yeah, we got in their reach.
Something like that. Argentina? I don't remember.
Somewhere not here.
Somewhere not anywhere where we ever get it. They haven't downloaded an episode since. Just put it that way.
Yeah.
They haven't shown up for... They're not repeat customers. All right, folks. That is... Oh, and stay tuned for this Friday for Andy Explains It All, Metal Gear Solid.
That's going to be fun because you know a little bit about that franchise.
I do.
I'm wondering how I can format this in a fun way.
It's going to be more back and forth, I think.
It's going to be magical. Yeah. It's going to be magical. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching on twitch.tv/Dual Screen Streams. Thank you for watching on youtube.com. This has been Dual Screens Podcast, Episode 3. I am Stephen Fontana. That is Andy Asimakis. And as always, please be excellent to each other.